Hello everybody, I record this on Christmas Day, it's the 25th of December 2023, and I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas if you're celebrating, and a wonderful holiday as well to you and your family. And I also wanted to give you an apology. Sorry for the delay in getting this episode to you. I don't want to say at this stage that we're a podcast with fans, but I'm going to say it anyway. To the fans, thank you for staying so committed. I've had one or two people, not many at the moment, reach out and ask what's going on, where the episodes are, because we've recorded a bunch and just haven't gone around to it yet. To take a page out of Sean Ryan's book, The Sean Ryan Show, which I really do love watching actually, and you guys are doing great work and I really love your work. We've actually made a few clips. There's some clips in the description, which you can find on Google Drive, which has, interesting clips from this episode and a few episodes beforehand that you can take and edit and make the reels if you want to, and make some engaging content to hopefully get you some followers. So we're really looking forward to these few episodes. And again, this is the Flight Path podcast, where we interview people who have been on a bumpy road or a bumpy flight path, as you can imagine. And we're asking the questions that you actually want the answer to. So please submit your questions. Please message us, DM us wherever you found our profile, and message us your questions so we can ask them to our next future guests. Okay, on to the episode. Okay, cool. So we're in Sydney. Michael flew down, not to see us, to see the event at the International Convention Centre. How was it?
I got a few clients here. It's been a pretty good show, Yeah, we've got a large solar energy client out of the US, Enphase.
Yeah.
So we've built their stand. We look after all their comms and marketing in Australia, New Zealand.
Fun.
Yeah,
so you flew down from Melbourne. By the way, thank you for taking the time to say hello to me as well. I appreciate that.
Good on you. Good on you.
Awesome.
Good to meet you.
So we've actually already done a call. We did a call online. We did a quick podcast. It was brilliant. But now that you're here, I want to ask you a few questions about you.
Sure.
Right? So we've already spoken about things like why you got into the industry. I want to know, how are you finding it now? How's it changed since the 1990s?
I think it just keeps changing. Like
right.
it's just keeps, if you don't change with it, I think you're sort of, going backwards, to be honest. When I started my agency in 1998, we started with a fax machine. I didn't even have an email address until, 99.
Yeah.
Everything was like fax.
So you've had to change quick.
Well, yeah. And the biggest way to change is when it starts hitting your bottom line.
Yeah.
So I'm a big advocate of you shouldn't wait. You need to keep evolving, because the minute you stop evolving and just sort of rest on your laurels, you're actually going backwards.
Yeah. And as you said, you're either billionaires or bankrupt.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah.
Well, another thing we could talk about is, speaking of evolution, what about the involvement of AI? And as AI has developed, how have you absorbed it in your business?
So we're really in a phase right now where we don't see the threat in it for our business in terms of it taking over. I think it's just another tool that we're going to be able to use.
Yeah.
But I think what is going to make it really interesting is it's who's using it. Is what's going to make it good or bad.
Yeah.
If I'm a strategic guy, if I'm sitting there working on strategy for a client, I'm accessing it and using it in a way that's going to give me leverage, faster insight, what have you, but it's not going to do the work for me, because you need a strategist to do the work. You can ask it to do some strategy for you, but I would only imagine that, it's not there yet. The other part is I do believe that as everything becomes so perfect because of AI, I feel like what's going to really sort of stick out is the imperfect.
Yeah.
The imperfect is what people will be looking for. The real. You're going to be looking for something human versus something artificial, and I think we're going to reach a point
It's going to become exhausting.
Well, I think we're going to reach a point where we're going to know, we're so smart that we're going to work out what is AI and what's not, and what's human.
So we've spoken about AI, right?
Yep.
Now, there's a topic that a lot of people don't understand, myself included, that is a minefield for, new business owners, new agencies, stuff like that. That's process. So we're talking onboarding, sales sequence. So let's start with onboarding. How do you onboard a new client?
Well, I think for us, we're not a churn and burn sort of agency. So we work with long-term clients. Our clients have been with us for, some of them for 10, 15 years.
Right.
So in order to sort of do that, our onboarding is very bespoke. It's customized.
So back to the onboarding topic.
Yep.
Right. So you were saying you're not a trainer bird agency. You like long term.
Yeah. So for us, our onboarding process really starts at strategic and ends with creative rollout.
Right.
You know, so we don't have like sales guys. You know, we're very sort of specific in terms of the clients that we would sort of go for and chase. And
So would you say your product sells itself?
no,
Right.
no, I don't think any product in this day just sells itself. I think you got to work hard continuously, because if you're not front and center, you're behind. So it's a continuous. You know, people have fish memories these days; they don't remember much. And so our job is to make sure that we're able to stay consistent with what we do.
Right.
Values are critical, so if values need
What
to
are those
align.
values?
Well, look, I think for us, you know, smart is critical. Like, you know, forward thinking is a fundamental. So we work with businesses and brands and hire staff and work with people that are forward thinking. If you're backward thinking, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, 100%. Backpedal.
You know, there's an element of authenticity. Be who you are. Like, you know, and it goes the same for clients. We love authentic clients, authentic staff, and so we don't compromise on some of those things.
Of course.
Outside of that, you know, there's this element of teamwork. Like for us, teamwork isn't sort of like just sort of high-fiving each other. It's more about the ability for a co-worker to demonstrate that he's lifted someone else.
Right.
That is a KPI.
That's cool.
Within the agency. So we reward the person lifting as opposed to the person that's sort of kicked the goal, if that makes sense.
So you have human morals and human values.
Well, I think in this day and age, you have to.
Yeah.
Like you gotta, if you're not doing that, I think
It won't pick it up, though.
I think people will find you out.
And then you're not human. And then, you know, I find, like, again, I'm obviously compared to you, I've got no experience, but like people,
I'm sure
you know,
you've got
like
a-
humanity, as you said, right?
Well,
So-
I think it's real, being real. I think we've come to a point where everything's so fake that people are looking for some authenticity, and we're trying to find it as well.
Yeah, it's hard.
With our
Well,
clients
speaking of
and the people who are-
authenticity, how do you hire? Because again, like putting a client on LinkedIn, Facebook, stuff like that, it's good, but how do you guys get your team?
So,
Do you train and burn your team?
no,
Exactly.
absolutely not. So our staff, we really look after them. You know, we treat them like family, clearly.
Yeah,
It's really important. And it's got to be genuine.
absolutely.
And I think the hardest part is like a beanbag's not going to cut it,
Yeah,
or two.
yeah.
Doesn't
But I saw
cut
the
it.
new office you guys are setting up on LinkedIn and Instagram and stuff. Is that all set up now?
Yeah, we're getting there. It's
looks
almost sort of
fantastic.
just a bit more paint, and we're sort of done.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
this,
sure
is, this is wild here.
right? Was
What
I
do you
wrong?
do? What do you do here?
I thought this was sick.
Play hockey,
I have no idea. I just remembered it from a long time ago.
ice hockey.
Yeah, it's a cool place, right?
Absolutely, you can do.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What a spot.
Yeah. So
Play soccer.
yeah, futsal. But these would take you out though.
Eh?
But these would take you out.
Yeah, it's still.
Well, are you a football player?
No.
Is business a team sport?
Um.
You like that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. Well,
That's why some of the best mentors in business are actual football coaches.
Yeah. Ah, I like that. Or martial artists.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they come in and talk about how to pull together a team. It's the same philosophy, really. You know, you're all on the same side to kick a goal and try and get the score.
And you said you're right-brained, right, towards creativity.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're a
for sure.
musician, right, as you said before.
Well, not really a musician.
Stop
but
being humble. Yes, you are. He's fantastic, right? So, but
I like to write some songs.
Exactly. But that's what I want to know, because I think number one, the most difficult part of being an entrepreneur is overwhelm. And overwhelm. And juggling too many balls at the same time and not knowing how to manage it. So we already know what a day in your life looks like from episode 1. Episode 2, I want to know, how exactly do you manage it all? Because like do you have like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday where you're working on music, as you said, and Sundays? Like,
I
how do
think
you manage it?
I try where I can to enjoy the weekend.
Right.
I really do.
And what does enjoyment include?
I think, a bit of family time's really good. Like, I love hanging out.
5 kids?
No, 2 kids.
2 kids, sorry. Where
5
did I get
kids.
5 from? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, must have read it wrong from the.
I'm not that lucky.
No,
5
well,
kids.
yeah. No, well, some
Wow.
people would even consider themselves unlucky when they're in business and they have so many responsibilities and kids. How do you balance it all, man? Like, it must be overwhelming.
Very. It does get overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I think over the years, like, you've got to be doing it not for the money, because you'll have good times and you'll have bad times. And generally speaking, those that are doing it for the money end up sort of falling by the wayside. When things go bad, unfortunately, they go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But if you love what you do, you just keep going. And whether it's 20 years or, I've lost copious amounts of money, man.
Yeah.
Copious. I don't fall asleep.
Well, life's all about losing.
I don't sort of cry over spilt milk.
Yeah.
But, every part of it's been absolutely rewarding, every bit of the loss of it as well. And the gains, really,
Yeah. And look at what you're doing now. Now you're inspiring. Right?
Well, I don't know how inspiring.
Well, I'm gonna make sure it does go viral and everything like that. Yeah. But what I want to know, again, because it's very rare that you have an experience where you can talk to someone who's also a father.
Yeah.
Right? And for someone like me who wants to be a good father, what would be your 3 best tips for starting a family and also being in business? It's tough, but I would love to know.
Very tough.
Yeah.
I think when you have a family, I think things get a lot more serious. And I think the biggest thing is you sort of tend to become a little bit more risk averse.
Yeah.
Because it's not just you on your own. That's the sort of big difference between you and me at this stage. I probably couldn't take as many risks as you because I've got accountability for some young children that I've got to put food on the table for, and I can't go wild and crazy. I've got to actually really consider every move, whereas you can probably take a few more chances than me.
Just a few more, yeah.
A lot more. As I did when I was your age. I didn't really care if I was bankrupt.
Yeah. Well, his story we spoke about before is amazing.
You're going to, if you're young and it happens, you're going to pull through it, provided that you're doing the right thing. I think it's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Interesting, man. Yeah. Okay. So now you're in the latter part. You've already established the family's going well. Everything's kind of smoothed out. Now, what are your plans for the future? Maybe not necessarily with Sphere, but you said you want to go into music. Is that going to become a full-time thing?
Oh no, music's
It's a hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good hobby.
I'm going to keep it as a hobby. It's like, I have no desire to be a recording artist, but you know what? Like, if it can create a little bit of impact.
But if you're good at it, why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
So speaking of that, what's your opinion on people doing more, doing everything? That's my slogan. So you said risks.
You can't do everything.
You can't do everything.
Can't do everything.
But can you try everything? Should you try everything?
No.
No. Well, there we go. No, it's great advice.
No, some people should try things and others shouldn't try it at all.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got a bad voice, don't try going to Australia's Got Talent.
That's true. No, that's true. It's completely true. Yeah.
Have a crack if you think you got a good voice. But
yeah. So I want to know a couple more things. Let's go back to the Sphere.
Yep.
I want to know, employee-wise, what makes a good employee for Sphere, and why would someone want to work with Sphere as an employer?
I think what's important is that if you are coming to work for a job, you're going to get caught out and you're gone.
Yeah.
People don't come to Sphere for a job. They come to Sphere for a career.
Right.
They come to Sphere to sort of try and leave their mark. Our North Star, which is like the guiding principle as to why we come to work every day, is lead to greatness. So every staff member, whether you're the executive assistant or you're an account director or you're me, the founder, and we all strive to sort of lead to greatness, and that's in our everyday role. So it's how we sort of conduct us. I think it's part of a philosophy. And if you don't have the lead to greatness and you're not a team player and you don't know how to deliver the complex in a simple way, and you're not authentic, you're hiding something, you just don't bring your real self to work, and warts and all, we love that.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be awkward.
So if you're real, come work at Sphere.
I think that bring yourself, warts and all.
Hear that?
Yeah, bring yourself, warts and all. We take it all.
That's good. A lot of
Because-
people aren't like that.
Well, you can't get the best work out of anyone if they're faking their work 8 hours a day, mate.
Yeah.
You know, who wants to live faking 8 hours a day and being someone that they're not? Because just because they're going to fulfill a role, wouldn't you rather just go to the place that you feel like is going to be home to you, that you can actually be yourself and come to work? And like I have to, because I'm a pretty complex individual myself. Like, you know, if I don't give grace to others, what use do I have? Like I've got my own battles of, bringing warts and all to work. And they accept me.
I think everyone overestimates the CEO, the owner, and they forget that they're human as well, right? Have there been times you felt like, you just wish people consider you more of a human instead of a robot machine that runs a business?
No, not really. I think I've got a really good relationship with the team that I hire, and I get to show them a real human side of me. And I think that sort of breaks down some barriers. And we have a very flat structure, so, they can have a crack at me and tease me, have a laugh.
Yeah.
I don't really take too much seriously.
Well, let's keep walking. Let's walk down. And we'll go back down to the city. We're in Sydney, by the way, in case that wasn't obvious. But yeah, so wrapping up, I would love to know what's something that you want to give to our audience. Our audience is anywhere from 16 to 35, around there. What's one piece of advice you can give?
I think hope is one of those things where if you can give a little bit of that to anyone that's young and wanting to sort of make something out of their life, hope is one of those things. And I do believe that being sort of everything is fleeting in the 25 years. I've seen good times, bad times. I've seen the Y2K.
Y2K.
Yeah, that was the bug virus when they were saying that, they thought the world was going to collapse when it hit.
Well, like a virus, not a computer
year
virus.
2000, like all the systems.
How have I never heard of this? Y2K.
Y2K.
Jeez.
Y2K was a fear factor leading into, I think it was Y2K, I'm sure it was. I'll Google that, just double check that. But
Yeah, we will.
it was everyone thought the world was going to, the computers were going to stop when it clicked over to year 2000.
Jeez.
It was going to create some sort of fracture in the system that was going to break down the banking system and create madness and mayhem.
And you guys were working through that?
Well, we worked through that, and we worked through, the 2008, crash and the internet age, and we've seen radical change over the years, and change is expensive. That's the issue. It's very expensive. So if you're going to lead and you're going to try and lead, it costs a lot of money. That's why there's a lot of people just copy. It's easier to copy than create.
But copy and do it better. Well, try to.
Copy and do it better. I find the satisfaction out of create.
Yeah.
I find a lot of satisfaction out of creating something that people can. And I think that's why I love sort of songwriting, because it's mine. I create it, and I perform it. And
let's talk to the audience really quick. Yeah. So I want to know, right? Well, I think they want to know, right? If you had to give away, some quick advice, like little tip on how to actually get your branding journey started. So ideally they can, get their own stuff done before coming to Sphere, right? What would be a tip? Like,
understand your values, what you stand for. They're generally 4 words. And they're descriptors. Like you should be able to say, I should be able to pick up the phone if I'm going to describe this company that, these youngsters are going to set up and say, what is the tone that I want to create in my business? And, you think about it. And, for me, I want fast paced, that's a value. That is a value.
Speed.
It's, fast paced, audacious, brave, forward thinking and hard working, authentic individuals. I buy into that. Who are they? I want to work for them.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
All right. So it's about understanding your values and what's critically important to you. That's the first, because you're going to hire and fire on those.
Absolutely.
And when there's like a billion words in a dictionary and you've got to articulate 4 values, let's just say, if the guy can't tick at the box, one of the 4 values that you're going to set out of a billion words, don't hire him. They're only 75% out of the 4 words that you're going to set.
Yeah.
So I think what it does is that really gives you clarity in terms of how to move forward, and then understanding your North Star, why you do it beyond money.
Right.
And when those 2 things come together, and if you've got a good product, you should be able to find yourself a really unique space. And, generally speaking, what tends to happen is if you think about it as a triangle and it's split into three parts, the values sit on the bottom. They're the foundation of a brand. Let's just assume the triangle is a full brand, yeah? And the top bit is the North Star. And that North Star is the guiding principle. And the two come together to create the heart of the brand, which is in the middle of that triangle, that heart. And that is the customer promise, or the key driving insight that separates you from any other competitor. It's something you can own and authentically deliver. And sometimes it doesn't have to be about the product. It could be just about the way you do things or why you get up, and could be just about how you donate your money and keep it going. Like some brands exist, pretty much social enterprise exists to create impact. And, you know, having that clear, you know, and people buy into that, that is the first step. From there you can create everything, because you can build brand stories out of that. Once you've got values and you've got a North Star and a promise to a customer, you can now go away and build out the story that you want to tell and find audiences that resonate with it. I think that's the fundamental, is to actually, before you sit down and go see an agency, actually understand really clearly what you want to do, and have done the research and have done the landscape study and looked at the audience, looked at the size of the market, looked at the growth potential.
So done the grunt work, but
you have to do it. You can't just wing stuff like this, man, especially when you're going to spend thousands of dollars and years of wasting. I mean, yeah, as younger you can sort of have a bit of a crack, but you know, when the stakes get bigger and the budgets get bigger, clients demand insights and they want risk assessment, risk analysis. And you need to be able to demonstrate, you know, that you are absolutely, you know, bringing everything to the table and crossing every T and dotting all the I's before you actually go out there and start spending money. I think also digital's helped play a bit of a role in that, in the sense that you can do a lot of split testing and A/B testing before you start deshackling all your budget.
And then you're in trouble.
And making it all happen. So, look, the world's changed immensely over the years.
Stay adaptable. Anyway, Michael, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for this. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Anything you want to leave the audience with before we leave?
I wish you all the best in 2023-24.
Awesome. Cheers. Thanks.
Woo!